Welcome to the Call to Cinema. I am Aaron, and I'm doing it like this, like a microphone type thing. Like almost, somebody pointed out that this was almost a water windshield looking thing when I held my snowball mic like this, and it kind of is. And I'll be honest with you, as an ex-journalist, I'm trained for journalism. I kind of love that. All right, so tonight we are talking about the new minimalist move in collecting that's been I've been seeing floating around lately online from some of my very favorite YouTubers, actually. So with Elliot Cohen and Nathan Jones, film blogger Sam, they've been on one side of the fence, and SJS has been on the other side of the fence when it comes to collecting. So a lot of what's going on right now for some collectors, a new trend. We do like trends in collecting every once in a while, and one that I think has been like popping up recently online is that they're looking to pare down their collections, and I get that. I mean, you get a lot, and it seems overwhelming, or you're collecting you're trying to be a completionist, and you're collecting a certain type of film, or you're collecting a certain like boutique label, and hopefully those labels are infinite, so that can bring on a bit of a collector's anxiety. I do understand that. However, on the other side of the thing, let me kind of play devil's advocate here, in that you may watch a movie and it may not connect with you the first time that you watch it, and this happens to me a lot, actually, a lot more than I'm willing to admit. But circumstances or time, for instance, will or just seeing it at the right time will completely change and make me reevaluate what I thought of that film. And most of the time, that's in the positive. There's only very few times that's ever been in a negative way. So, for me, and remember, like, this is just for me because I want to give my thoughts on it. I can't tell you if I watch a movie, especially certain films, within the first year, the first time or two that I've watched it, if this is going to be a movie that I'm going to watch 10 or 20 times down the road. I don't know what's going to be my new favorite movie. I get excited about a lot of films, and that's the way that I am when it comes to this. So when you look at my collection here, which is pretty messy right now because I'm reorganizing everything, one of the things you're going to notice is it is fairly eclectic. I have a lot of different labels that I collect, a lot of different companies that are huge, like paramount in what I have. I have everything from the Bergman collection to Zadiichi to the Al Adamson and Herschel Gordon Lewis sets, and there are things about each of those that I love, and I mean, like, I dearly love. Now, there are also films in each of those sets that didn't resonate with me the initial time that I saw it. It was something that I was a bit more blasé on. I wasn't quite sure. Sometimes it comes down to when you watch a film that I'm never going to watch this again. This really isn't working for me. Eden Lake's a perfect example of that for me, actually. Or other times it just comes down to age and temperament. I'm one of the older movie collectors on here, and I actually I don't mind that fact, and I'll be the first person to call it out. But your tastes change, and they grow and they evolve with your viewing and what you watch and what you don't watch. Now, when Elliot is probably one of the premier YouTubers, especially when you're talking about like Criterion. Elliot, Dice K, guys like that know their stuff. We're not talking about guys that are just randomly collecting. These are guys that are do some excellent, amazing work and have some really good analysis when it comes to the films. So there's never anything like bad on that side of it. But I am on the other side of the fence when it comes to this. I am slightly bothered by the minimalist collecting movement right now. And at the end of the day, it's each his own. It's a semi-controversial thing in the movie collectors community at this point in time, and I don't think it should put people on one side of the fence or the other. It's just something that you should be able to intelligently debate. And because I'm good friends with Nathan, because Elliot is such a really cool guy, because film blogger Sam is so awesome, and because SJS is cool, I don't feel uncomfortable talking about this. I know I'm not going to insult anybody because everybody has their own opinion on it, and let's be honest, it's an interesting topic to talk about and to discuss and to bandy about your ideas and your thoughts on it. For me, the biggest issue is that a lot of the stuff I have here, and I guess I've got a unique perspective on this that I'll kind of put out there right away. I'm eventually, hopefully, I should be moving to Morocco. Now, in Morocco, unfortunately, finding physical media is not going to be the easiest. It's going to take at least a plane ride for me to find a lot of the stuff that I want. So over the last year and a half, especially, I have been not just collecting for today, but I've been collecting for tomorrow. When I go into studying film, and that's what this is to me. It's it's not just my, it's a passion. It's something that I enjoy, but it's something that I study, and I'm very, very much passionate. Passionate's the right word about. I'm looking towards, okay, what am I going to want to watch? Not today, not tomorrow, not next week. What is something that I can enjoy down the road? Not that I won't watch it now, but what is something that I can enjoy, I can watch, rewatch, study, look at film techniques, how it was made, and just really dive into all the intricacies of filmmaking and the art itself. And I think that when it comes to stuff like that, you can learn as much from an Al Adamson, from a William Griffey, as you can from a Bergman or a Fellini, because they all have their unique styles and their unique things that they had to hurdles that they've had to bypass to get where they are. For me, it's a no-brainer. This is curating. Everything that I get is curating, whether I've seen it or not. I'm curating it. I'm not a collector, as in you would see most people that collect things and they just want to randomly get things or get all of this or all of that. I'm a completionist in a way that I do like to have a lot of the titles that I enjoy, but I do tend to not go for something if I don't really like it, and if it's something that I get and it's not particularly of my taste or my style, that may get passed on, or if it's something I think I can come back to, I usually keep it in my collection because I know that I'm going to be talking about it, discussing it, or making videos about it in the future. That tends to be the way that I take it. Now, that being said, this is me. And I'm in a particular circumstance of wanting to save as much physical media as I possibly can, as many directors and films and artistic visions. That's paramount to me. There's been so many films that have gotten lost over the years, whether it be they didn't make it into the next format, that people just didn't the original camera elements were lost. Films that even more recent films that you wouldn't think got lost. Just look at the Abominable Saga from MVD Rewind, and how that film is almost one of those lost films. The film's made in the 90s. You should not have a lost film down in the 1990s, but it does happen. And as a guy that is a Doctor Who fan, a Whovian, then I know all about having having stuff that's lost to time. And as much as I can, as you can see, I have like Blu-rays and DVDs. I have a lot of different stuff in my collection. I've got like laser discs, because I do want to ensure that like certain titles don't get lost. And if they get lost, they're not going to be lost by me. They're going to be titles that are in my collection that I can go back on. I may not watch Island in the Sun on a daily basis, or I may not pick up and watch every Jose Larraz film. Probably will, but I mightn't. I may not pick up Black Cannons and watch it like every month. And there's certain titles, actually even my Criterion collection, that it's probably going to be a year or two before I watch them again. But I need that option there to be able to go back. I don't know what's going to come in my life academically as well, or throughout this channel, where I'm going to have to draw back on knowledge that I had before, or just look into certain films and certain aspects of it to say, I really want to give my thoughts on this, and it became a little bit paramount this year as well, because last year we were supposed to be going to Morocco. Things got changed, and it's going to take more time. But due to that, like, I took a big binder of films, most of my Criterion stuff, a lot of like some other releases, some Scorpio Films releases, and I brought it over to Morocco. Okay, this is my first, the first bunch of films in my journey, in my moving over to that area. Now, obviously, things changed, and that took a bit of a turn, and I found that as this year, like later in this year, it came about, as I started to evaluate my channel and look towards making more certain like videos, like centric videos that I wanted to do on certain directors and certain films. Those films were no longer available to me. They were across the sea. And another time, maybe I would have not noticed, or but it made me stop and kind of take notice of what wasn't here. They're not lost to me. They're not gone. Obviously, once I get over there, they're still there, and that's the thing. That's the difference. Is that if you get something and you watch it, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to watch this again, and you get rid of it, and let's say things change, you get the opportunity to work on a specific video, you're studying something, or maybe you've got a better half that's really into a film or a director that you've previously gotten rid of, and you got to like search it out again. A lot of times that is going to be more costly as well. So for anybody that knows, like in the collecting community, when you pre-order, you get something, sometimes like a Vinegar Syndrome, for instance, or a Severin, you get like package or bundle deals. Those tend to be significantly less expensive than what they will be later on. Limited editions don't get cheaper most of the time. That's the thing. And that's, I guess, the other aspect of it too, is that it's not getting rid of a film now because you think you may not watch it within the next year or so, and then realizing down the road that you do want to watch this film, can get pricier. So at the time it seems like, okay, I'm not watching Purple Noon. I haven't watched Purple Noon in about a year and a half. Maybe I'll sell Purple Noon online. It's a Criterion release. I'll get some decent money for it, and let's just say Purple Noon goes out of print, and I decide, I'd love to give that another watch. I want to see the feature, or there's a certain feature on it. Or say you're down the road, you're looking at a film, and you're watching, listen to a commentary, and they're talking about Purple Noon. We'll just use that one as we'll keep going with that one as an example. And you're like, I didn't realize that. I didn't pick up on that at the time with that particular film. It'll be good to go back with this new insight and rewatch it, and just look over the features and just kind of dive into it again. But all of a sudden, you've created a barrier that's not going to be an easy possibility to overcome. So for me, the minimalist movement of film collecting doesn't particularly work. I think it was a comment from YouTuber Bailey Walsh, by the way, who was a great, fantastic YouTuber, a very smart young lady, on that said that she dog sat for houses, and some of the houses just were lacked character, because it's it's a lot of things. It's what you like, what you love, your collections, your love, whether that be, I don't know, it could be antique spoons, films, board games, video games, whatever, that kind of adds character, and lets people, when they enter your home, lets them know more about you and who and what exactly you are. It helps define the person, I guess. We'll go with that. Don't take slivers out of your definition, if you can. Now, that being said, this is a movement, and it is going to grow to an extent. And I have no. And before we go any further, this is not a diss. This is not a diss track on the people that are going towards this movement. Nathan is actually one of my best friends on here. I talked to him quite a bit. It's more of a thematic disagreement, I guess. Is that the right word to use? But yeah, it's a ponder. It's another way to look at it. For me, the minimalist collecting movement is not something that I can go with, and I think I've pretty much like put it out there exactly why, and why moving and having movies that are no longer in my possession, at least for a while, has enabled me to have a unique perspective on this. There's one thing in, like, getting a movie and then, like, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to watch this, and then getting rid of it. And there's another thing when you know that it may be harder to come by again. It may be something that you might be able to find. When you realize that, when you have things that are taken out of your collection, out of your hands, that you may not have noticed before, when that becomes something that's paramount for you, then it changes your outlook on things. I may not watch the Card Player, Argento's movie, like a Giallo movie, every year. It's one of my lesser, like, Argento films. I'm doing a Patreon series this year on the later films of Argento, and that would not have been possible if I didn't have the Card Player in my collection. And it's been about 2 years since I watched the Card Player, but I'm glad that I still have it there, and I can watch it when I want to, and I will enjoy it. And hopefully, with a couple years since I've seen it, and I like to say I'm going into it with new eyes, I'll get a new perspective and a new outlook on the film once I watch it again. So that's my thoughts on the whole minimalist thing. It's not for me, and I think I've said why. Maybe I'll sway some people. Maybe that's what I'll try and do, is like a sway to get you over to the come to the dark side. I am Aaron. I'm wearing my professor jacket tonight because it's chilly down here. Thank you for joining me here in the movie library tonight for just a little short call to cinema video, talking about something that has been on my mind over the last few days. I've watched some amazing videos from Elliot Cohen, from SJS, from film blogger Sam, and from Nathan Jones, who are all, by the way, if you're not subscribed to these guys, please do. Please do subscribe to them, because they're all amazing people, and you will learn some stuff. You'll learn some really cool stuff. If this is at the end of the video, so I got to do the thing that my better half always tells me to do, that I always forget to do. Like, share, subscribe, do all of that good YouTube stuff. And if you like this video, more than likely you're gonna like another video that's on this channel. Check it out. Also, I have a Patreon, and I wanted to give a shout out and a thanks to all my Patreon supporters, because you guys help keep this channel going. When I'll be honest with you, this year I wasn't sure if I was going to have a channel. And that's always a struggle when you're on here as a collector. If you don't know about my Patreon, it's Live Movie Club over on Patreon. You can look it up. We call ourselves the Crimson Cult, and there's a lot of cool videos on there. I've got a couple new patrons recently. It always seems like I get some and I lose some right around the same time. But I got a couple new ones, and you'll find some really interesting stuff on that channel, with some very interesting stuff coming up, especially if you're a fan of boutique labels and genre stuff and Italian cinema and Fulci and Franco and all that crazy stuff. Lots of that stuff like that coming up there, as well as some stuff on like Criterion's collection videos, all the cool jazz. I am Aaron. I'll see you soon. Stay happy. Watch a movie. Collect physical media. It's important. No matter if you're going to collect it minimalistically or you're going to collect it in a wider variety. If you're loving physical media, you're cool in my book. Talk to you soon.